Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Today we actually ended up getting these Season 1 Reloaded patch notes a little bit early. The 1.63 update is the full-on title update download required for the mid-season patch. That'll be going live tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., 10 a.m. Pacific time, right around there. There should be a preload for it, either dropping late tonight or early in the morning. If you're on BNet, that preload is also live, but we actually already have the full-on patch notes for multiplayer, zombies, and Warzone for Season 1 Reloaded. Kind of interesting, they've once again dropped these patch notes about a day earlier. So, and of course, classic COD timing, I literally just uploaded a video like 10 minutes before these drops, so we post them back to back. If you haven't caught that one yet, detailing all the weapon updates for all the new guns and everything, but they of course give us the content rundown here. First and foremost, the general overview with the update. We've got new multiplayer maps, a bunch of new modes. We just saw the whole Reloaded roadmap and all the breakdown there earlier on this week, and we covered that in a separate video. So the content here we're already well aware of when it comes to the Maelstrom shotgun, the sniper, the cleaver, all of which I just detailed even more in that video I posted a few hours ago. We've got new multiplayer perk and wildcard coming in season. Obviously the Citadel Day More map that got a full-on detailed like intel drop this morning. Content wise, it's actually a pretty solid mid-season update here, and again, we learned all about this stuff earlier on this week. What we're really focused on are these global updates here, so diving right in. Global updates, keep in mind this applies to multiplayer, zombies, Warzone alike. CDL ranked play and incentive camos can now be equipped to any weapon regardless of whether or not you have online military camos unlocked. I love that. That's good news. I thought it was so stupid that, hey, I just bought this CDL pack that came with a new camo. Oh, I can't use it unless I get my 100 headshots first. Like, that sucked. So really cool that they actually went through and fixed that. Settings with controller on stick sensitivity. The controller stick sensitivity sliders changed from a 1 to 20 scale to a 0.1 to a 4 scale. This will give players finer control over their sensitivity values and more transparency on the effect of their changes. Previously set sensitivity settings will be maintained. So essentially, they've gone through and fully translated the old value. So if you played on a 1010 before, now the new value is 2.1. So there's going to be more fine tuning done here if you can go all the way up from 0.10 all the way through 4.0. So kind of an interesting switch up there, but nonetheless, you might want to readjust this and fine tune this a little bit more. I'll likely do an updated controller settings video here very soon. For multiplayer, obviously new maps here. They adjusted Lowtown, an issue where players could get outside of the map, and then also adjusted the A-bomb site on Protocol and SND. For modes on Hardpoint, resolved an issue where zone markers could sometimes disappear when contesting a hardpoint location. And then in CDL modes, dynamic map elements are now disabled there. With weapons, we'll be releasing a large weapon balancing patch shortly after the launch of Season 1 Reloaded. This patch will address some common pieces of community feedback we've been seeing. Here are just a few of the high-level changes with detailed notes coming later. So we'll have to stay tuned for that. And of course, if you want to make sure you're in the know for all the latest news and updates, whether it's full-on title update patch notes like these, new announcements, reveals, surprise updates like whenever these detailed notes end up releasing, I got you guys covered on a daily basis right here. So feel free to hit that subscribe button right now. Right around 59% of viewers watching are not subscribed, so if that's you, I'd love to have you change that. And we're also on the road to 1 million as well. And of course, if you enjoy this video as we go through all the update notes, a like rating would be seriously appreciated too. But in general, headshot damage improvements on all full auto weapons, so headshots will be more significant in a gunfight, have more of an impact there when that update goes out. Full removal of idle sway at the start of ADS on snipers, that's fantastic. And then also reductions to visual recoil, sway, and bob. Honestly, all that is great news there. I can't wait to see the full detailed notes. With the gunsmith, addressed an issue that displayed incorrect movement speed values on some weapons in the detailed weapons stats. So that's solid there, just more, precise data coming from the advanced mode there. With theater mode, they addressed an issue with the HUD effects previously being shown from the old player carrying into free cam. Addressed an issue with the Hellstorm intro not happening. An issue where free cam would zoom in sometimes too much. An issue where the smoke grenade VFX was not displayed. An issue where a black screen could happen at times. Addressed a crash that occurred in theater mode. And then also free cam movements and bindings have been also updated to L1 and R1. With perks, recon combat specialty bonus of the HUD edge indicator will now only display when an enemy is in ADS. They also improved the auto ping from tracker in free-for-all modes. Weird that it's just in free-for-all. With equipment here, they resolved an issue where flash and concussion assist could be awarded when hitting teammates in hardcore, basically. With score streaks, addressed an issue where static overlays from various score streaks could actually persist persist in the winner's circle. Sentry turret will now target enemies in last stand. Resolved an issue where players firing an unsuppressed weapon with the ghost perk equipped could be seen by enemy scout pulse. Address an issue where the Archangel launcher and hand cannon would be stowed when performing a high mantle. Then also address an issue where the player would be unable to use a second Archangel launcher in one life when obtained by points in a care package there. With the lobby vote, fixed an issue with the classified vote option that was causing it to frequently select the same maps in some playlists. Does this mean small map mosh pit's not just going to be Warhead 24/7 every time we vote classified now? Hopefully, cross our fingers there. Social, address an issue where friends were not showing online, and then address an issue where offline players could show as online friends. With challenges, they updated some stuff here. They fixed an issue that was preventing the merciless killer challenges from progressing. Daily challenges reduced the amount of progress needed to complete various multiplayer daily challenges. With camo challenges, launcher, gold, and dark spine camo challenges now also award progress when destroying enemy equipment and field upgrades. That's fantastic. That makes that just so much easier, and I'm jealous I already completed those because I had to go through the painful process of only focusing on streaks. Address an issue where the final kill of the match was final kills of a match were not consistently being counted towards camo challenges. What they're trying to say without the typo there was that final kills weren't tracking for camos. That's now fixed there. With ranked play, they updated some of the restrictions. The Krig, the Model L, the XM4 have all been removed. The SOG, all snipers. Basically just following the various different GA stuff there. Hacienda is going to be returning to the map pool there, so that'll be cool. Couple of bug fixes for SR prevention there as well. And of course, the classic various stability fixes. You know what's not mentioned in these patch notes though? Anything regarding servers and hit reg. Unless of course that falls under various stability fixes, in which case they're not descriptive there and they need to be. So unfortunate there. We'll see if anything comes up in the Warzone patch notes. But now we shift into zombies, and there's quite a bit going on here as well. So with this, general updates. We already talked about a lot of these Mangler and gameplay related ones yesterday because they previewed some of these, but they reduced the Mangler spawns in mid to high rounds, implemented a maximum cap on active Manglers all the way up to round 100, reduced the arm cannon health, significantly reduced the length of special rounds. They also scaled down the parasite damage between rounds 31 and 91 and increased the damage scaling for base zombies at round 150 to 400. They also addressed an issue that would prevent zombies from spawning normally after loading a save. Addressed an issue where rarely all players would be down without a way to revive each other. That was crazy. Addressed an issue in split screen where one player would not spawn with the correct loadout. On Terminus, they addressed an issue with the AFK timer not being present in directed mode, an issue where you actually had additional ammograms spawn when loading in a save, an issue where using the Beam Smasher alternative fire mode on a camera would display an immune text, and addressed an issue that sometimes caused incorrect iconography on the minimap. Liberty Falls, they addressed an issue where an abomination could spawn outside of the exfil zone, addressed an issue where parasites could spawn. Somehow that's actually kind of crazy too. An issue where vermin could end up on the roof in some locations, and an issue where zombies could get underneath on the forecourt. For weapons, they added all the new weapons to the mystery box, addressed an issue with the AK-74 recoil, then also an issue where some weapons have the wrong rarity. On the wonder weapons, they addressed an issue where alternative fire could be used without a cooldown. On Juggernog, addressed an issue where the reactive armor augment would stun brain rot charmed zombies, and they also improved the lighting on the perk machine. Under Wonder Fizz, that'll now appear when loading a save past round 25 without any need to progress to the next round. With field upgrades here, Tesla Storm will be unlocked during Merry Mayhem. Dark Flare addressed an issue with that. Quick Revive addressed an issue that caused Dying Wish to not account for armor mitigation. Ether Shroud closed an exploit so you could get through doors and barriers. With the Powder Keg Gobblegum, that'll be Gobblegum Mania. Timeout will be Gobblegum Mania as well. Free Fire, they addressed an issue there with underbarrel grenade launchers and the GS45 Pack-a-Punch. Then also an issue where a player would be unable to use some Gobblegums too. Hand Cannon, unlock available through the Armory now. Hopefully that means the Armory is actually fixed. Power-ups, Max Armor Power-up will now also fill up the player's reserve plates. For loot, they addressed an issue where you pick up a weapon off the ground, you could swap that with your secondary instead of the held weapon. Sam Trials addressed an issue where the original score streaks are sometimes not returned to the player. That's kind of funny. Challenges, they fixed various different calling card challenges here, so if you want to read the exact specifics, feel free to do so. Go ahead and pause the video. Daily challenges, reduce the amount needed to complete various daily challenges. They also addressed an issue with medals for monkey business there. For UI, they addressed an issue where some playlists would be locked, updated the text below director mode rewards for the charm will now also be awarded for completing in standard mode. Addressed an issue where sometimes the previous Gobblegum name was being shown. Addressed an issue in split screen where the Gobblegum UI was not working correctly either. An issue where the scoreboard could be missing in split screen. An issue where the center dot crosshair would disappear in third person. They updated the ping icon for the Krig and addressed some text inconsistencies. And of course, they also added various stability fixes, like always here as well. Now let's jump over to the Warzone patch notes. So here we also have our Wednesday, December 4th. Date and day of the week is correct here. Sometimes they goof that up on the patch notes, of course. So same global sensitivity update here. The 1 to 20 scale being replaced by 0.10 to 4. We will go over what you need to be changing there if you need to change anything in the coming days. So stay tuned for that. Make sure you are subscribed. Game update. Thank you for dropping in to join us for the first season of the new Warzone experience. Following the launch in November, we've been working through your feedback as well as our internal data. Season 1 Reloaded brings exciting changes and improvement with more to come in the future. The Season 1 Reloaded update focuses on a number of bugs, quality of life changes, and server performance improvements, and more. We thank you for playing. Hopefully this means some good stuff is coming up. So we got a couple of LTMs coming up. I think they're both going to be cool. Also, LTMs typically have lessened skill-based matchmaking, so that's great. Holiday Rush is on Area 99. Sleigh Ride Resurgence is back on Urzikstan, just recycling content from last year. Playlist update. So our first playlists are going to be live from now, or basically tomorrow when the update actually goes live. Keep in mind this is early patch notes. From tomorrow to the 19th with Holiday Rush quads on Area 99. Ranked play, of course, trios on Urzikstan is going to be there as well. Battle Royale, solos, duos, trios, and quads on Urzikstan. Resurgence, solos, duos, trios on map rotation, and then just quads on Area 99 and Rebirth, then Plunder quads as well. The next playlist update won't be until December 19th for the holiday update. Obviously, ranked play is going to be here. Battle Royale makes its triumphant return on December 5th, 2024. Playlist update will go live shortly after Season 1, so it's not going to be live the second the update drops. In order to access this mode, players must place amongst the top squads in at least 30 matches to be eligible to play first. In this case, top placement is defined as finishing among the top 6 teams in Resurgence or top 15 in Battle Royale. So you have to have 30 finishes either in top 6 Resurgence and or top 15 in BR before you can play ranked. That's ideally to stop some cheaters. That clearly did not work in multiplayer. Hopefully it's better here. I don't have high expectations. Basic overview, it's going to be trios on Urzikstan, 120 person player count until they realize the servers can't handle that. Then it'll get dropped down to 100 there. Competitive settings are going to be there. So weapon restrictions, all Modern Warfare weapons, all launchers, attachments, all thermals, underbarrels, barrels, and fire mod stuff is going to be restricted there. The CHF headshot barrels restricted, rapid fire and Dragon's Breath is restricted. Reinforcement flare, that's also restricted. Foresight and sentry turret, bird's eye, alertness specialist, the cargo truck, the Triumph, the big game bounty, elite contracts, proximity chat, text chat, emotes, and gulag are all going to be restricted as well. This year features a tighter ecosystem of weapons to choose from, particularly only Black Ops 6, so that's actually pretty cool. I like that. This enables a finer look at the balanced ecosystem there. Global weapon builds. Any global weapon builds you create in ranked play can be easily used. They're kind of annoying sometimes. Ranked play and skill rating, we all know about this. It's kind of the same as before, except now you actually get more SR if you kill somebody who's a higher rank than you, less SR per kill if you kill someone who's a lower rank than you. So that's kind of interesting there. And of course, we have our standard tiers: bronze, silver, gold, plat, diamond, crimson, iridescent, top 250 with that. There's going to be a seasonal setback, of course, so they've updated this a little bit. If you're bronze or silver, you don't get reset. Gold, you start back at gold 1. Platinum, you start back at plat 1. If you're diamond or higher every season, you'll start back at diamond 1. Obviously, we've got our top 250 in the leaderboard, same deal as last year. Elimination and SR stuff going on here. Basically, every time you end up getting taken out, you lose SR. The skill delta reward changes depending on if they are plus or -3 from your own rank. So the SR will be greater if they're +3 over your rank. They'll be less, ideal. You'll get less SR per kill if they're under 3 beneath your rank there. So it's gonna be interesting to see how that plays out. Like, I feel like lower tier players like gold, platinum, diamond players, if they end up queuing with somebody who's a crimson or something and you're fighting a lot of crims, you're gonna rank up super quick in that case, right? Like, there's actually gonna be a way to boost that in a sense if you're playing with a party that is lower skilled than you. Previous versions of ranked play had an uncapped system here, which led to balancing issues and unintentionally invited bad actors back to exploit unrealistic SR gains. We'll be monitoring the effectiveness of this cap. So with this, maximum SR cap is 150, so you can't cheese crazy SR gains there. There, of course, are typical deployment fees depending on your rank as well. Pretty standard in comparison to last year. Individual rewards for completing your certain tiers. If you get all the way to champion, you get that crazy looking skull flaming skin that looks absolutely wild. I wish I could get that, but I won't be top 250 or champion, safe to say. Ain't got the time for that. There are going to be various different rewards for getting your career stuff, so different placements, different kills. There's going to be seasonal rewards as well for wins and eliminations, reaching certain thresholds for your rank as well. There's obviously going to be SR penalties if you back out. SR forgiveness, you won't lose SR. If a match-made player disconnects, so someone you're not queued with or partied with disconnects, the player loses their first match of the day. That's going to be forgiven as well. And if you have demotion protection obviously there too. If enough players disconnect before a match starts, that match gets canceled, of course, so you don't have to forfeit that SR. There's also demotion protection similar to last year too. Party skill restrictions: full parties of 3 can play together regardless of individual ranks, but you're always going to be playing in the highest ranks. If you have 2 golds and a crimson, you're going to be playing in crimson tier lobbies basically for this. New social features: hot streaks. Win 3 ranked play games in a row, you'll get those flames. Extend your streak to enhance those flames. More hot streak levels have also been added, and you also get your ranked play like added to your social profile so people can see what division you're in. Performance. Now here's where we get to the actual important stuff. We've implemented several updates to boost server performance, ensuring a smoother and more reliable experience. I will not believe it until I see it. If I boot up Warzone tomorrow and we still have these crazy hit reg and server issues, this is not going to be enough. Hopefully, cross our fingers, it does change. I want it to change. I want it to get better, but taking them at their word, they haven't fulfilled on these promises in the past, so we're gonna have to wait and see how this plays. Only downside of these patch notes going live early is that we can't all jump on in 10 minutes to check and see. Instead, we got to wait until tomorrow morning. But nonetheless, they're saying they're doing server updates. Buy station specialist, fire sales discount for specialist has increased to 50%, up from 30%, so that's solid, easier to get specialist. New reflexes perk: triggered delayed explosives detonate on a delay, so kind of like how flex worked last year basically, except you don't get good audio. Kill streaks: the bunker buster, that's increasing the max damage, decrease the minimum damage. When trophy system intercepts, it'll deal slightly less damage. So with the adjustments to how the trophy system will cause the bunker buster to detonate, we want to make sure it remain competitive. Basically, that's why they're doing that. Weapon update here: obviously new sniper coming in a few weeks, maelstrom coming through the new events, cleaver melee weapon in season as well. New attachments: 3-round burst on the XM4 and the compact. Like I said, I just covered the full-on weapons update and everything to expect there in actual full detail in a video just a little bit ago. So if you haven't caught that, because I'm uploading so close back to back, feel free to go and check that out. So weapon adjustments: keep in mind this is just for Warzone. We want ARs to remain competitive, and they also said there's going to be more coming as well, so we'll have to keep an eye out for that. But we want ARs to remain competitive as long range options, so we're increasing the velocity of all Black Ops 6 rifles. That's pretty solid, along with buffing some AR damage ranges as well. We'll continue to evaluate. So the AK-74 damage is staying the same, but the range is getting buffed here, and the velocity is up as well, from 760 to 830. On the aims, just straight up buff the velocity. On the AS Val, damage is staying the same, but the range gets better at all distances. Velocity buffed, then ADS speed was also improved. Goblin's velocity was buffed. GPR's velocity was buffed. The Krig damage is all staying the same. The range gets buffed everywhere there, and velocity was buffed. Model L velocity was buffed. XM4 velocity was buffed. STG lower torso modifier was nerfed, and the BP50 Revenger kit has been nerfed. Max damage range nerfed, medium damage range nerfed, lower torso modifiers nerfed, velocity nerfed as well. It'll still be decent in that first damage range, but it is a little bit worse now in terms of how far that range extends out. I imagine it'll still get used though, but it is a little bit worse here. DTIR 30-06, the velocity was nerfed, of course, because this was overperforming as an MW3 weapon. No surprise, like we all saw, hey, there's a lot of good MW3 guns right now. That's gonna last long, right? DTIR, anyways, velocity nerfed, so that sucks. Upper torso nerfed, arm modifiers nerfed, leg modifiers nerfed. Just a bummer to see that won't be as competitive now. It should still be decent, but it's probably not going to be a true top competitive option. All Black Ops 6 SMGs have had their reload speeds increased. That's solid there. So C9, damage ends up staying the same. The range ends up getting buffed though for the minimum damage range. Headshot modifier buffed and leg modifier buffed too. Compact here, damage is staying the same. The range gets buffed in its max and medium damage ranges there, so that's solid. Additional adjustments: headshot buff, upper torso and arm buff, lower torso and leg buff as well. Headshots will now kill in 1 less bullet, and hitting legs or torso is less punishing. So the compact actually could be a lot more competitive now. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Striker, oh, what a surprise. A good SMG from MW3. Headshot modifier nerfed, upper torso nerfed, lower torso nerfed, velocity nerfed. They don't want us using old guns. It's very obvious. Static, oh, what a surprise. Another good MW3 gun. Headshot modifier nerfed, upper torso, lower torso, arm modifiers nerfed. This keeps the same number of bullets to kill, but it makes you have to hit a few more headshots to get a faster TTK. Basically just says, hey, unless you're getting nothing but headshots, there's going to be better choices here. LMGs. The goal of these ADS speed adjustments is to bring LMG handling more in line with our intended baseline values. The location modifier changes make engagements feel more consistent and less punishing if you hit a few lower torso shots mixed with upper torso. We'll continue to monitor this. So the GPMG, the range and its max range gets buffed. The damage is staying the same across the board, but ranges all across the board are better there. Upper torso and arm modifiers buffed, velocity buffed, and then also ADS speed improved. PU21 damage is actually getting nerfed in the minimum range. However, the range is getting buffed in the medium and the minimum range. Additional adjustments: headshot modifier buff, upper torso and arm buff, velocity buff, ADS speed buff. XMG just got upper torso and arm modifier buffs, velocity buff, and ADS speed buff as well. The RAL, surely this is the Proteon kit. Okay, it is. Wow, the damage range. They almost cut it in half. So the max damage, closest damage range, damage goes from 45 to 25, but the range gets better. Then its minimum damage, 30 to 20, better range as well. I have to imagine that absolutely kills the TTK on that thing. For marksmans, all BO6 marksmans have their reload speed increased. We want marksmans to be better at longer ranges, so we're increasing the velocity. So the AEK velocity is great. Its rate of fire is still bad though. DM10 better velocity, that's great because this is already a great gun. The SWAT, the range is actually better for its max damage range and then its minimum damage range. Then the arm and velocity benefits there got buffed too. Then on the Sarkov, velocity buff, pretty straightforward. All shotguns have had their reload speeds increased by 8%. Lockwood 300, max damage decreased from 50 to 28. Maelstrom dual trigger, max damage decreased by 50. That's crazy. Max damage range is also buffed though, so it's now a 7-meter damage range, but the damage is half of what it used to be. Minimum damage was also nerfed there. I can't imagine that's going to be great. SPX, fixed incorrect damage values. It'll now one-shot within its max damage range. That's cool to see there. Honestly, some solid weapon updates, but keep in mind we should have even more to come, and we'll have to, keep our eyes out for that. With loot and general adjustments here, lootable SMGs, updated SMG magazine sizes to be larger than 30. That's solid. UI and UX, custom loadout colors. Weapons that players info with or respawn with will no longer show as a single custom loadout color. Rather, they will have a weapon already based on the number of attachments. Kind of cool. Audio, reduced reverb effect on Urzikstan, and that's it. Okay, so no audio adjustments, even though we need a lot of those. That's cool. Bug fixes on perks. Fix a common issue with custom perk packs where the pack was named custom, it should be custom perk pack. An issue with custom perk packs where the pack was showing as legendary rarity. An issue with scavenger's description because it did not call out the cache that it provides. An issue with Grenadier's description where it made references to players removing shrapnel. The perk applies a debuff when enemies are damaged by explosives, but they're not expected to remove that. An issue with Quick Fix where health was not regenning on plates and kills. That's great. Quick Fix is better now. An issue with Quick Fix where inserting an armor plate, downing a player, or killing a down player now correctly starts regen health. That's kind of the same thing. An issue where the default perk Quick Swap was not being applied in pre-match. This still applies correctly in a regular match. An issue causing specialists to be discounted 30% instead of 50%. They just doubled up on that patch note. Field upgrades, an issue with the deployable buy station that showed incorrect icons, and an issue preventing the loadout drop field upgrade icon from appearing sometimes. For camos, fix an issue with challenges that required tracking kills while under an enemy UAV. Previously, this only tracked if a player eliminated the enemy who initially activated the UAV, which sucked. This affected the unique camos for the Tanto, the Bat, and the XM4. Now it correctly tracks eliminations on any player while the attacker is under a UAV activated by any enemy. After all, the only thing better than taking down an enemy operator is doing it while you're on everyone's radar. So that should work as intended now. Firing range, fix an issue that caused firing range dummies to not armor break when being hit with a headshot. An issue that unintentionally caused snipers to not one shot in the firing range. After 3 years, is this finally fixed? Hey, give it up. If that actually works now, incredible. It only took 3 years to fix that because that was busted in MW2. An issue that prevented movable dummies from properly moving to the intended weapon damage ranges. In the Gulag, an issue causing players to take damage when they appeared in the Gulag. They also fixed an issue with the Gulag spawning more cash. Dang it, I like that. I could go into the Gulag and triple my income. It was great. Other. Fix an issue where players could receive incorrect hit marker visuals when viewing kill cams. This is the double hit markers that we talked about in a video the other day that made it look like it was a headshot even though they were not shooting your head. So hopefully that fixes that misinformation. An issue that unintentionally made players swap to the wrong gun when switching weapons. An issue preventing players from leaving the match during exfil. An issue causing players to get stuck in the plating animation. An issue where you couldn't use multiple UAVs. An issue where the buy station was showing the incorrect icon. An issue allowing players to duplicate payouts completing the signal intelligence contract. An issue with the ammo depot caches missing on rebirth, so those actually were bugged. Those will be back now. That's huge. An issue that prevented players from properly attaching mid-air to long zip lines on Urzikstan. Numerous descriptions on weapon attachments in the gunsmith after the muzzle and underbarrel refactor. Interesting. An issue where the icon for certain public events were flashing repeatedly. An issue where the score feed would persist on the HUD through death and respawn. An issue where the attachment swap pop-up will show incorrectly under certain conditions. An issue where the airspace is too crowded message and information would not display correctly. An issue where the tutorial messages and pop-ups would appear even when disabled. Missing sound when your squad is wiped. An issue where plunder scoreboard causing the cash bank to display incorrectly. An issue that prevented a player from shooting after opening a loadout crate when they were previously eliminated. And then also an issue causing the bounty contest, which widget to flash and play sound. So a lot of patch notes, some honestly pretty good changes. Unfortunately, nothing direct on the true hit reg and server issues. They say server performance. We're going to have to test that because quite frankly, that's what I'm focused on the most. I think there's a lot of cool content with this update. I think there's a lot of good changes, good balancing, but none of that really matters if the gameplay sucks because the hit reg in the servers and the desync is so problematic. So we'll have to see what happens tomorrow. Of course, as things do get updated, we'll be able to actually go through and test and see how things feel. I'll be keeping you guys in the loop for everything you need to know about COD, BO6, or Warzone. So feel free to hit that subscribe button to stay up to date. And if you enjoyed this video, a like would be seriously appreciated. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.